It'll soon be easier for rich foreigners to buy homes in New Zealand. The government today finally confirming changes to the foreign buyers ban introduced in 2018 under the Labour New Zealand First coalition. So how will it...
So who's that guy on the right, Chewie? The guy on the right shaking Jacinda's hand. Have you seen him before? Who's that dude?
The ghost of Christmas past.
work? Well, right now under what's known as the Golden Visa, or officially the Active Investor Plus Visa, wealthy people from overseas wanting to gain residency here in New Zealand must invest a minimum of $5 million. But they can't buy a family home until they become a resident. The new rules mean those investors will be able to buy or build high-end homes worth $5 million or more. Senior political reporter Benedict Collins has more details and reaction.
A picturesque home like this one for sale in Queenstown.
Yeah, that's my holiday home, Chewie. Haven't been up there yet, but this is where we go on the weekends.
Will set you back a pretty penny. Now the government's opening the door for foreigners with its Golden Visa.
We must roll out the welcome mat and incentivise investors to choose New Zealand as a destination.
We can't afford to turn up.
That's interesting, eh? We'll come back to this, Kieran, but the word must, I'm going to underscore that. We must roll out the welcome mat. We must implies maybe because of financial decisions they've made, they have to find the money from somewhere, because the emphasis on the must. We must roll out the welcome mat. Not we want to, or we think it's best, or here's a good idea, but we must. We'll come back to that.
Golden Visa.
We must roll out the welcome mat and incentivise investors to choose New Zealand as a destination.
We can't afford to turn our nose up to friends around the world who want to bring their money and their know-how to this country.
We know if they have a base here and have a home here, they spend more time here.
These wealthy investors will soon be allowed to buy or build one home here. But there's a minimum spend, $5 million.
Above $5 million, it's about 10,000 homes. About 80% almost are here in Auckland, and about another 10% are in Queenstown.
Some say it's about time.
Well, the idea is that they will then spend longer here and take a bigger position in our economy, and hopefully
immigration and property
downstream economic benefits to New
Two
Zealand.
thumbs up
And
for
he
that
thinks
guy.
it could lead to house prices rising.
Housing market's really flat right now, and sometimes what happens with these situations is some of the deals at the top end bring confidence right through the market, and so it can...
So since the 80s, they've had a name for that, haven't they, Chewie? Something down. It's basically a version of that how it kind of trickles down. The confidence would start at the top and trickle down. You know, it gives confidence at the bottom, so it starts at the top, and that confidence sort of trickles. It kind of trickles down. I wonder if
60% of the time it works every time. It's great.
Yeah.
and prime the pumps.
Some famous buyers in the past include Shania Twain with land near Wanaka, UK personality Noel Edmonds, and controversially, PayPal founder Peter Thiel. But foreign buyers were banned in 2018.
We'll introduce that law to ban overseas speculators from buying existing homes, and we'll do it by Christmas.
National had campaigned on letting foreign buyers back in on a much grander scale, but were blocked by Winston Peters.
And just remember, Whānau, that's when they had their limit at 2 million. You know, the average house price for Auckland's basically. They wanted to do it at 2 million, not 5 million.
He's now on board with these changes.
Winston has been very constructive and positive about the need to attract investment to New Zealand.
Winston Peters should change the name of his political party. He's no longer putting New Zealanders first.
Labour says Kiwi homes should be for Kiwi buyers.
Well, ultimately, if they want to come and make a home in New Zealand, they can buy a home now. This exemption means that they can buy property in New Zealand without coming to live here. Our position, the Labour Party's long-standing position, used to be New Zealand First's position as well, is that you should only be able to buy a home if you actually want to live here.
The opposition accusing Winston Peters of selling New Zealand out.
Benedict, I know you've been speaking with New Zealand First Leader Winston Peters this afternoon. What's he had to say?
Well, he sure didn't take kindly to that criticism from the Labour Party. He told me he completely rejects this notion from Chris Hipkins that what the government is doing here is going to drive up the price of houses and make it tougher for Kiwis to buy houses here. Mr Peters told me that he felt that the Labour Party needs to get a financial advisor because it really doesn't understand how the housing market works.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Kieran, me and Chewie have had a bit of a chance to chip away during that, pardon the pun. What are your initial thoughts there, sir?
Well, Winston Peters is pretty keen to talk tough through a written statement. If he was that solid on his position, he would have fronted the cameras like every other one that did. But no, he's quite happy to once again have a crack at the people that are putting forward their position rather than defending his own. And I think it says it all. This bloke has launched a career on supposedly defending New Zealand's interests, but when it's in his own political interest, is quite happy to wriggle out of that.
Some might say the baubles of office might have got to him again there, Kieran.
Some may well say that. We can't forget that the National Party voted against the foreign buyer ban. They are very clear in their view that foreigners should be able to buy up existing houses in New Zealand, despite the fact that there aren't enough houses. And even with house prices coming down, they remain unaffordable because wages have been hit by this government's policies. Every way you look at this, this is bad news. It is the wedge that could potentially not be able to be overturned. We're going to have to look into this, but part of the advice we got when we brought in the foreign buyer ban when in government was that we had to do it then and there, because once free trade agreements were signed up to, which are crucial for our country, that may prevent our ability moving forward to put in such a ban. So with this government loosening things, it might actually restrict us unless we want to compromise these very important trade agreements from making any changes moving forward. We make those comments based on the advice that we received when we were in government. We're going to have to look at that closely. But this is bad news. And there aren't many New Zealanders that are going to benefit from this, if any. Maybe that investment in immigration and property lawyer, he'll do pretty well out of it, but not many others.